A Boomer Alley video.
Well, there's great news this week. I think that I've come up with a plan to get the do-nothing politicians in Washington on both sides of the aisle to actually work together. It's a fairly simple plan that I'll share with you, but first, I've got an admission to make. You know, I haven't been following my own advice. I made a video about being happy, and one of the suggestions was to not watch the news. Well, lately, I've been watching, and sure enough, I've just been walking around being angry at Congress for not getting anything done. Now, I'm not naive. I'm not under any illusion that back when our Congress was more effective, that the politicians didn't have major philosophical differences. I mean, Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill did not see eye to eye on many issues, but they liked each other. Both of them spoke about how they'd fight all day, but after 6 p.m., they liked each other. And you can go back to our founding fathers. Franklin and Jefferson had huge differences over major issues like slavery, but they both wrote that they liked each other and enjoyed each other's company. Compromise was accomplished because our representatives liked each other. When Ted Kennedy died, who spoke about him most lovingly? Orrin Hatch and John McCain. They both spoke about their great friendship and all the legislation that they had co-sponsored with Kennedy over the years. Well, the reason that today's Congress can't get anything done is that the men and women are so tied to their rigid ideologies that they're not even making an effort to get to know each other, let alone like each other. Well, here's the solution. I say we make them bake cookies together. That's right. Each week, we would choose a senator from the Republican Party and a Democrat and make them bake cookies. Bake enough for the entire Congress. And then they'd have a big milk and cookies party together. Pretty tough to hate someone when you're baking cookies together. And you have to cooperate. Now, I think the baking should be on television so we can actually watch them having to compromise when they're deciding what kind of cookies to bake. And we'd see them actually accomplishing something. Now, it would show us that the Republicans aren't really the party of no when it comes to adding extra chocolate chips to the batter, and we'd see them even admit that they like Mexican wedding cookies. We'd see Democrats eating Mississippi mud cookies, even though they know that there's no chance in hell that they're going to carry the state. And we'd actually get to see it. We won't have to listen to the talking heads like Keith Olbermann claiming that some Republican senator refuses to eat malmouls because he's found out that they're also Osama bin Laden's favorite cookie, or Bill O'Reilly putting a spin on the news that some Democrat has spilled the sugar and now O'Reilly's claiming that it's government waste. Now, for the big congressional milk and cookies party, they have to sit Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. They can't just sit with their friends. And sometimes we're going to make them dunk their cookies in their neighbor's glass, sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right, because, you know, you're not going to let somebody dunk their cookie in your glass unless you know them and you trust them. And even if this plan doesn't get Congress to do something for the country, although I can't imagine that happening, you know, at least we'll get to see them as human beings. I mean, I'm sure that John Boehner of Ohio must smile sometime, and I'm sure that I'd like him a lot more if we could see it just once. And I think there are people who would be more comfortable with gays if we got to see Barney Frank dip his cookie into Richard Shelby's cup. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Baking cookies. I'm sure it's going to get our country moving again in the right direction. At least that's what I think. Visit us on Facebook and get in on the discussion. Let us know what you think. I'm Marc at boomeralley.com.
It's Boomer Alley, love.